It seems like the apocalypse, somehow, is not turning out quite like Hollywood promised it would. Quick show of hands. How many of you out there thought that, boy, when that government in D.C. gets tyrannical, when they cross that final line, that's it. I'm going to live off grid. I'm not going to have a mortgage or an electric bill or fluoridated water, or I'm at least totally self-sufficient, grow organic food. I'm going to be with nature. And it's going to be wonderful. Well, you see, this is kind of what that looks like in reality. All over the country, there are these massive homeless camps. This is, I believe, from either Portland or Las Vegas. I forget which one. But there are tens, if not hundreds of thousands of them. And my question is, where are all these people? Because who remembers way back in the 2000s when everybody romanticized all of this? Well, in today's video, we're going to cover this a little bit, and we're going to revisit something that one of our favorite channels, The Patriot Nurse, said very recently that I think illuminates this. But first, as always, I want to be diligent and I want to be thankful, because gratitude is one of those values that we need to hang on to for whatever we have. Every day above ground and breathing is a good day. Those of you who have stepped up over the Florida Hockey Patreon channel for the $1 a month lowest allowable level, thank you. God bless you for doing it. I very, very much appreciate it. I have not the flowery words to tell you how much it means and how big a difference it makes in my life. There's over 300 videos over there for those of you who haven't chosen to do that yet. We take the gloves off and we talk about things very differently. With all the censorship here, we have to be very careful what we say. We can still kind of tell the truth, but we can't tell it in a way like we tell it over there. And once again, if you go over there and it's too much or you don't agree with it, for the first 90 days, it is fully refundable. So even if you stay there for $1 a month for 3 straight months, you've spent $3. Over there, you have a private inbox that you can send me a message and say, Florida Mucky, it's, I appreciate what you were trying to do, but it's just not for me. I need to watch every penny. Can I have my $1 back? Absolutely. Can I have my $3 back? Absolutely. It's not a problem. There's also a $5 level. Not as many videos over there, but our most recent one, very personal story of mine, is at that level. So we will be putting out a lot more content over there. But what is the participation trophy for survival? I think this would be a very good one. Because in survival, basically you either do or you do not. There's no trying to survive. Some have said, Florida Maki, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but you've shown some things and talked about some things that are pretty salacious when it comes to survival and things that people might do or might choose to do, or seems pretty immoral, some of it. Well, you see, some people, like this, make decisions so that they don't wake up next to this guy in the tent right next door in some random homeless camp. And sometimes those decisions can be, well, a little bit unorthodox. And that was the entire point I was trying to make. A lot of people have listened to these guys go on for decades about, all you really need to do is just have a little metal striker in your everyday carry, and then here, watch this video. He's going to put all this stuff in this little log. He's going to blow on it. There's going to be a fire. Once you have fire, then everything's going to be fine. Oh, everybody will sit around. We'll cook stew, and everybody will have all their ballistic weapons, and we'll all talk about our stories, and then we'll go and cut down little trees in the forest, and we'll wrap vines around them, and then we'll stack up sticks, and then before you know it, we'll have a trading post, and people come and go, and we'll defend it with our ballistic weapons. I mean, it was just ridiculous. It was that, and we can see it now, that when people make decisions that get them tossed out of their homes or choose to not do things that keep them from getting tossed out of their homes, they basically get the participation trophy for survival, and that's basically a homeless camp by the side of the road. That's the reality. What got me thinking about this is I was actually working on some music. I was working on 2 songs. One by Steve Warner that he did many years ago called It's Not What I Did, It's What I Didn't Do. Talking about a relationship. And then there was another song by Paul Overstreet where there's a line in it that says, Lord, Give me the eyes to see exactly what it's worth, and I will be the richest man on earth, talking about having just the most meager of four walls around him and his family and food in the refrigerator and, just the basics of life and a place to lay his head at night. And I thought, man, how appropriate are these songs now? But before I forget, I wish I'd had this image earlier. Over at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel, we're going to be doing a drawing, 22nd of August, for the last two known in existence Florida Maquis coffee mugs. One side says Masters of the Mind, the other side says Destroying the Illusion. Has Maquis, and then the wreath and star logo, black and gold. Everybody gets one entry over there. Now, as we mentioned, very recently, 27 July 2023, Patriot Nurse titled The Real Reason People Are Homeless, Broke and Shackled in Debt. And she talks about this situation from Portland, and I just want to play a tiny clip here.
But I kid you not, the road was lined with RVs. And not the happy type of RVs that you see that are, well maintained from holidayers and vacation goers. No. These were like the beat up RVs that people buy when that's all they've got. And they were lining for what looked like miles of the street. And I just thought to myself when I saw this, it's like, this is reminiscent of the Great Depression. I hold by this. We're in it. Forget the recession. This looks like, to me, with the housing situation, with the cost of groceries, with the cost of property tax going up, how many of you, I'm really interested, leave me a comment below, how many of you saw your property taxes get raised significantly this year? In my area, people's property taxes are getting raised anywhere between 37 to 57%.
Okay, so you get the idea, and I'm sure a lot of you have stories about this from all over the country. Later on in the video, she says there are places where you can't get a house for anything less than a functional house for anything less than $500,000. Well, I'd like to share something. That's not the case here in Florida. A lot of people believe that, Florida is priced out. There are some neighborhoods, absolutely. But I pulled up Zillow here real quick, locally, Palm Coast, Florida, and I put in a search for houses between $200,000 and $400,000. And then I went and selected show them to me from low to high. And here's a house right here. It's, and this is public, so it's, not anything secret. 8 Beverly Place, Palm Coast, Florida, 32137. Single family residence built in 1980, 255 asking, 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet. And when you look through the pictures, it's actually a quite a nice little place. It's got, little paver driveway. They've got the screens on the garage. I don't have that. You put the garage door up and you still have the screens. That's a big deal down here in Florida. Keep the bugs out and you can sit out and enjoy the weather. Stone facade. It's got a nice little walkway here. It's got a fireplace. It looks like it's still got the popcorn ceiling, so maybe something might have to be done with that. Of course, the pictures here look like somebody was still living there when they took them. But the kitchen's got the nice double-door fridge. This actually looks bigger than my fridge. Water nice in the door. They got a dishwasher. It's definitely got a retro feel to it for sure. But here's one bedroom. You got the stand-up shower and probably the commode right around the corner. And then here's the main bathroom. The backyard's got kind of a nice homey feel to it. There's a fence on one side. There's the front. You can see the fence on the side here. Looks like they were growing something up by the house. It's not spectacular, but it's, when you say $500,000, this is half that. This is $255,000. This is, right down the road. So I wanted to share this because, it's really a neat story. This guy, this Dr. Nathaniel Curry, came scrolling on my Instagram feed. It says, I bought myself a house after 4 months of work and waiting out my apartment lease. I moved in, slept my first night in it when I was a boy in foster care. I slept my first night in it, period. When I was a boy in foster care, I used to think, before sleep, someday I'll have my very own house and nobody will tell me I have to leave. Now that is true. And I read that and I'm like, you know what? I can tell this guy gets it. It reminded me of the lyric from the song. Lord, give me the eyes to see exactly what it's worth, and then I'll be the richest man on earth. Anybody who ever tells you, well, I'll be homeless before I do, has never been homeless. Anybody who says, well, I'll go to prison before I... Guess what? They've never been to prison. You see it. I pulled up one of these old websites, this shtfpreparedness.com, talking about off-grid trailers for preppers and their families. And it's like all of the trailers that they show here, you can actually, in the video from the Patriot Nurse, she was talking about having seen this video from Portland, where miles and miles and miles of trailers just like this. It's like these people's worst fears just came true for them. It's like they literally willed it to happen. Now, at the very end here, believe what you want, vote however you want, make whatever choice you want. But we are a nation of laws, and sometimes those laws get abused. But sometimes bad people do bad things. Kari Lake said something that should terrify all of you. Truly, it should. She's calling for the end of the Republican primary, that there be no primary, to just give a participation trophy candidacy to Donald Trump, because in her mind, he's entitled to it. Entitled to it. It's the most anti-American thing I've ever heard literally anybody say. I mean, ever. I mean, think about it. It doesn't matter what your opinion, whether guilty, not guilty, like Biden, don't like Biden. I don't like either one of them, truthfully. That's why I'm supporting Governor DeSantis. But here's the key. Here's the part, 12 minutes and 22 seconds. Think about what she said. Donald Trump ally Kari Lake calls for Republican candidates to suspend their campaigns in order for embattled ex-president to win 2024 election. What she's calling for is for them to all support him and get behind him. I really believe that those other people running in the Republican race should stand up, speak out in support of President Trump, talk about how this is an injustice unlike we've ever seen, going after an innocent man. Now, keep this same energy. Everybody who doesn't like DeSantis has almost unanimously said, well, it's because he's supported by blah, blah, blah Bush, or he's supported by, or he went to Yale, or something like that. What if all of these people that for all of these months now you've been saying are rhinos and secret globalists and part of the Uniparty simply because they're running against Trump, all of a sudden now they decide to support him, which Kari Lake just called for? Wouldn't that be an indictment of Trump? Because then by extension, anybody who supports you indicts you. Like, for example, one of the big ones, well, when George Bush was asked if he would rather see DeSantis or Trump, he chose DeSantis, so therefore we know George Bush this, therefore this type of the guilt by association crap. So if DeSantis would come out then, now that we know he's some secret rhino globalist, part of the cabal, if he would come out and say that he would support Donald Trump, wouldn't that make Trump part of the cabal? Because he's being supported by? You see, this is the crazy part about it that people don't get. How would that work? I mean, shouldn't she be saying that they should just apologize and leave politics? I mean, wouldn't that be the more correct thing to say of her? They should apologize to all of America and get out of politics because they're global elitists, and Governor DeSantis should just resign right now in Florida and let whoever take over. Isn't that what she should say based on the accusations of Trump supporters? I mean, that's my question. Why would she call for Chris Christie's support? Why would she call for Mike Pence's support? Why would she call for Nikki Haley's support. Why? They're all bad people. They're all evil people. You see my point? You see, you're not entitled to anything. Nobody is entitled to anything. You either fight for it and you get it, or you lose. That's just the way life is. Which brings me back to this. Anybody who's ever suffered the indignity and the humiliation of being homeless or having gone to prison or lost something knows it. You do what you got to do. Let the chips fall where they may. And then you, just like the Bible says, you work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, and you don't worry about what anybody else does. That's why I brought this up, because there's a lot of high and mighty finger wagglers out there that would rather see people lining the streets in homeless encampments, living in trailers, than suffer any level of indignity getting that participation trophy. So I will leave it there. I'm sure that's probably going to set some few people off, but just check out Zillow. This is just one. Let's see if there's another one we can find here. Oh, here's another one. Okay, well, this one's a little bit newer. This one's built in 2008, 264,000, 9 Wood Ash Lane. Heat pump, central air. That can't be right. 6,490. Oh, the lot is 6,490 square feet. I'm like, that's a big house. Let's go back here real quick. Let's take a look at the pictures. 2-car garage, pretty plain Jane, I guess. Not bad. Nice bar. Looks like pretty new appliances. Bedroom, bathroom. Looks pretty functional to me. Looks like this also has a fenced backyard peeking out that window real quick. 6, yep. There's the backyard. Nice, pretty big fenced yard. $268,000. So, I guess I'll just leave it there, but all that stuff about living off grid, all that stuff about end of the world, government tyranny, I'm going to go be self-sufficient, and I'm going to this, that, and the other. Now we know what it looks like. Now we know exactly what it looks like. So I'll leave it there. God bless. Have a wonderful evening. Pray for each other. Lift each other up as always. And, you know, I sure do appreciate any amount of support over here. It's getting harder every single day. Just ask the Patriot Nurse if you don't believe me. She's got a Patreon too. So, and really, there's a lot of great information at hers as well. So, $1 a month. That's it. And like I said, not for you. Comes right back at you. No questions asked. Have a wonderful rest of your week. God bless. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.